Okay, let's move on to day 3 then, and the Ladbrokes World Hurdle is the highlight of every Thursday at the Cheltenham Festival, and there's something missing this year. Let's be honest, there's something seriously missing, and of course it's big bucks. Such a shame. He's won it the last 4 years, but he's not going to win it this year because he's out injured for the rest of the season, which is a damn shame for every racing fan. From John O'Groats to Land's End and beyond. But let's look at the odds. Big bucks isn't there, but there's some good horses in here. Oscar Whiskey, 5-1 favourite. Rev de Civilla, 11-2. The Irish horse Monksland. The enigmatic Tiger Bay, as you say, 8-1. Yeah. Bog Warrior, 10s, 12s bar. We'll start with the favourite. Should he be favourite? I think that's a good question. Oscar Whiskey, 5-1. Probably the best 2.5 mile horse in training, you'd have to say. 5th in this race last year. He just emptied the race this year. Then they run him in the Cleve Hurdle in January, where he finished 2nd to Rev de Civilla, who we'll touch upon in a minute. I think it's clear to say this isn't his optimum trip, but is he still good enough to win this race?
I think he's talented enough to win it, but if you look at his record at the festival, it's pretty patchy. I think he was 4th in the Supreme Novices, was he? And then he was 3rd in the race, champion hurdle in the year after, and then emptied in, like you say, in the World Hurdle. I wouldn't have him favourite. I really wouldn't have him favourite. Wow. I think Rev de Civola is a lot more solid.
Yeah. Just say for a minute, you're Di Waters, the owner of Oscar Whiskey. Where would you run this horse? Would you run him in the World Hurdle? Would you take him back a mile to the Champion Hurdle? Would you run him in the? Well, I guess there's no other really. It's
wait for entry.
Really, you wait for entry, the entry hurdle, which of course is his optimum trip. Where would you go?
I'd probably run him in the Champion Hurdle, actually. I think he's got enough speed.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be involved in the shake-up.
Yeah.
He's talented enough, definitely. And I think he's more speed than stamina.
Yeah.
I think you need a real stayer to win this. 3 miles and there's the hill as well. I'd go for the 2 miles or wait for entry.
Sure. I wonder if he wasn't trained by Nicky Henderson, would he be running in the Champion Hurdle? I think that's a fair question to ask, definitely. We'll talk about Rev de Civola now, who's 11-2 second favourite. I like this horse, I really do. He was 2nd to Pedlar's Cross 3 years ago in the Neptune, way back in 2010. They tried him over fences for 2 seasons. Run okay, not quite graded level, but just that kind of top handicap level, you'd have to say. Then you thought, he got injured. Let's put him back over hurdles, and it's been a fantastic decision. He won the long walk just before Christmas there at Ascot, and then beat Oscar Whiskey in the Cleve Hurdle. This lad ticks all the boxes for me. What do you think?
Same for me. 2 Premier Trials. I thought he was really impressive in the long walk at Ascot. Yeah. Super impressive, in fact. And I thought he won fair and square in the Cleve. Yeah. And I can't see Oscar Whiskey reversing the form. And quite why the bookies seem convinced that he's going to, I just don't know. I don't see it. I really don't see it. There's a slight question over his soundness again. He's won on the balance of his form looks like he needs heavy ground, but actually when you go back and look, a couple of years ago or 3 years ago now, he won at Punchestown when the ground, even though it said it was good, I think it was actually a bit quicker than that. Yeah. So it goes on any ground, as long as he gets there sound, 11-2. Yeah. Yeah, fill your boots.
Yeah, absolutely. Monksland's the 3rd favourite, 7-1, trained by No Mead, of course. 3rd in last year's Neptune, and then he beat Zaidpour in the 3 mile Christmas hurdle in between Christmas and New Year. What are your feelings on Monksland? Obviously trained by No Mead, not got a great record at the festival. There's a few negatives in there. Would you concur?
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to tar him with all his runners with the same brush, but I don't like Noel Mead's record at the festival. It's really patchy for such a talented trainer, and beating Zaidpour over 3 miles. He's won over 3 miles. I think was it a grade 2? It might have even been a grade 1. So he's got some form in terms of the trial, but he finished a sort of distant 3rd, didn't he? I think in Neptune, and I wouldn't have him on my shortlist.
Yeah, I think he's quite short actually in the
bet
for what he's achieved. 7-1. We've got to talk about now the enigmatic Tiger Bay. Stuart so wonderfully put 10 minutes ago. This horse has run 38 times. He's a veteran of the scene. Run 30. He won the Arkle back in 2008. I was at school then, ages ago.
Really?
All right, perhaps not. 7th in the World Hurdle, the race we're looking at now, in 2010. But he left Howard Johnson, of course, moved to Paul Nicholls, and of course, when you move to a stable like Paul Nicholls, you expect improvement. Yeah. Perhaps not as much improvement as this, though. Yeah. What an amazing 10 months he's had, winning the Bet365 back in April. The Lexus, of course, in that phenomenal race at Christmas, yeah. And then run well in the Hennessy as well, behind Bobsworth. Although, hearing things today that Paul Nicholls was saying that he might just wait until the Grand National, but hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully he will run in the World Hurdle. If he does run in the World Hurdle, Stuart, how would you fancy his chances?
I wouldn't be having him winning. I think he's capable of placing, definitely. Yeah. Just on the balance of his win in the Weatherby 3-mile trial earlier on in the season. Yeah. He won that well.
Yeah, the John Smith Hurdle.
That's right, the John Smith.
Charlie Haldy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'd steer him elsewhere again. I'm not telling Mr. Nicholls how to do his job, but after winning a Premier trial in the Lexus, and where the further he went, like the better he looked, got up on the line, extra 2 furlongs, possibility of soft ground given the desperate weather we're having at the moment. And I'd probably root him to the Gold Cup because that's a good Grand National trial as well. People forget that.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Horses who place in the Gold Cup, can run well in the Grand National. There's enough time between the two. So weights have been framed already. He's got a great weight for the for the Grand National. So yeah, I'd take him to the Gold Cup. Yeah,
of course, Rough Quest second in the Gold Cup in '96, ended up winning the Grand National a few weeks later. Exactly. I agree with you with Tidal Bay. You just think if he wasn't trained by Paul Nicholls again, would he be running in the Gold Cup? So it's another question I think is worth raising, definitely. Other contenders in this race, Stuart, obviously Bog Warrior, and a real, as Irish as it comes, this horse, won the Galmoy, beating Zaidpour again last month. Peddler's Cross, who, I think we all loved that horse, finished second in the Champion Hurdle a couple of years ago. It's all gone wrong since then. Yeah. And then Saltwit as well, who was put up by Tom Seagal in anti-post price-wise last week. Was a big, I think he was favourite for the Champion Hurdle about 3 or 4 years ago. He didn't make it to Cheltenham, unfortunately. But loads of decent horses in the lower down the betting, the lower echelons of the betting, if you like. Anything caught your eye?
Not particularly. I think one that people have been overlooking is Smad Place, who was third last year. I think he's sort of 20 to 1 plus. Again, a return to better ground if it actually turns out better. I think he could easily run into a place. People seem to have forgotten him last year. Was behind obviously big bucks in Valère La Vedette, the hard to pronounce mare from Ireland. So I think he could run into a place. But Saltwit, they would have tried him over 3 before now, surely. I can't be having Saltwit. So yeah, it's again relatively sort of confident Rev de Sivilla for me.
So Rev de Sivilla to win. Wow,
definitely.
Interesting.